Now that we're a couple weeks into the NBA season, time to start thinking about making some moves in your fantasy basketball leagues. Here are 4 players to buy low on right now. Number 1 on the list, Desmond Bane of the Orlando Magic, ranks well outside the top 100 right now. He scored in single digits in 3 straight games for the season. He's averaging 13.9 points, 3.9 rebounds, 3.5 assists, shooting only 41% from the field, 29% from 3. The numbers have been disastrous pretty much across the board. No question about it. Overall, the Orlando offense is looking shaky night to night. They're still not taking or making nearly enough threes. I think the idea was that Desmond Bane would go a long way towards solving that issue, but he's taken only 4.5 threes per game, obviously not shooting it well on those attempts. I think those numbers have to increase. The percentages will come around. Bane's a career 40+% shooter from 3. He was taking over 6 per game a year ago, over 8 per game the year before that. That was when the Grizzlies just had catastrophic injuries, so I'm not sure that kind of number is realistic, but the volume's going to come around. The Magic have played 3 straight blowouts. He was ejected early from their last game against Atlanta on Monday, so there are some caveats here, and ultimately we're working still with a very small sample. I would worry a bit about the drop in rebounding, the drop in assists. His rebounding rate, his assist rate are both down considerably compared to last season, but the overall usage rate, the scoring, should not be taking this much of a hit. His usage rate is just a couple points lower than where it was a year ago. If you have a manager in your league who's looking to offload Bane, they're frustrated already, I would see if you could grab him at a discount. Next on the list is Payton Pritchard of the Boston Celtics. And with all the changes in Boston this offseason, Pritchard was on the short list of these big-time leap candidates this season, and so far, that hasn't really been the case. He's seeing more minutes, about 5 more per game. The usage rate is up from last season, as you'd expect. The rebounds, the assists, the steals have all been fine. With Pritchard, though, there is one very obvious issue right now, and it's simply that he has been maybe the most damaging three-point shooter in the NBA so far. He's not making threes. Obviously, his field goal percentage has suffered accordingly. He's down to just under 42% from the field on the year. He's taken almost 8 3-pointers per game. That's good. He is shooting 21% from 3. That is very bad. As of Wednesday, he is 13 of 61 from beyond the arc. And prior to Monday's game against Utah, it was even worse. He hadn't hit more than 2 threes in any game before that. 1 of 9 against Philly, 1 of 8 against Cleveland, 1 of 7 against the New York Knicks. But like Desmond Bane, Pritchard has a very strong track record. He's a close to 40% shooter for his career. He was closer to 41% a year ago. It's a very small sample. Those 3-point shooting numbers, they're going to come around. The Celtics aren't going to tell him to stop taking them. That's for sure. If he was just shooting, say, 34% from 3 this season, he'd be at 18 points, 5.5 assists, 4.5 rebounds, over 1 steal per game. You'd probably be just fine with that. So, like every player on this list, if somebody's looking to offload Payton Pritchard, I'm looking to buy. Trey Murphy of the New Orleans Pelicans. So the case for Murphy is a little bit more complicated. It's not just simply, he's not shooting it well and those numbers will come around. He's playing for one of the worst teams in the NBA. Pelicans just got their first win of the season on Tuesday night. They have the second lowest defensive rating of all time right now, behind only this year's Nets. So blowout risk is going to be an issue likely for the duration of the season. But Murphy's yet to play fewer than 32 minutes in any game. Even when the Pels have been down big, he's not seeing his minutes slash dramatically. In fact, he's right where he landed last season at about 35 minutes per game. So that's not the issue. When you dig a little bit deeper, Murphy's shooting it fine from 3, right around 37, 38%, but he's struggling at the rim. In terms of finishing, he's down about 10 percentage points in efficiency compared to last season. He's also not getting to the rim at nearly the same rate. You look at his numbers last year, over 30% of his points came in the paint. This year, that number is down to just over 20%. His overall usage rate is down about 5 percentage points. His free throw rate is way down. That's a category that you could just take a look at and see a dramatic drop off year over year. It's basically been cut in half compared to last season. So that's something to keep an eye on. It's tough to say exactly why that's the case. Free throw attempts are up across the league overall. The Pelicans, in theory, I guess, have more mouths to feed. Jeremiah Fears, Jordan Poole, Derek Queen are in the mix. Herb Jones is back healthy. Obviously, Zion, when he's out there, he's going to get his. Maybe what Trey Murphy was doing down the stretch last season was never going to be sustainable. And he was a bona fide top 30 guy in category leagues. But I would still bet on the talent with Trey Murphy. I would still try to buy low on him if I can. Even though this Pelicans team feels like it's going nowhere, there's really nowhere to go but up for Trey Murphy in fantasy. Fourth and final player on our list, Amen Thompson. So I get more questions about Amen Thompson than just about any player, any sport so far this season. As I record this on November 5th, he is coming off his highest scoring game of the season, first game of the year with 20 plus points. He had a couple nice games before that as well. So my hope is that some of that first week panic has subsided a bit. But in category leagues, Thompson still ranks well outside the top 100. The free throw shooting is always going to be an issue. It's always going to drag down his overall ranking. He's at 66% for the year. He takes almost 6 per game, so that definitely matters. If you're in a category league, you either have to embrace it or you have to try to find ways to offset it. But the field goal percentage is also down compared to last season, about 5 percentage points. And maybe most concerning is that the rebounding and the defensive numbers you were really counting on, that's the reason you were taking Amen Thompson where he was going this year. Those numbers are down as well. I'm still willing to take the long view here. We're only 2 weeks into the season. He's only played 6 games. Defensive stats can be very fluky. They tend to come and go night to night. I know 1.1 combined steals and blocks is not what you signed up for, but I think those defensive numbers are going to come around. Rockets are still figuring out the rotation, post Fred VanVleet injury. They're using Amen Thompson on the ball a ton. It's taken him away from the rim on defense. I would worry about the blocks a little bit more than I would the steals. He might not get back to over 8 rebounds per game either, partially because he's just not playing on the wing, not playing at the 4 like he was for long stretches of last season. But I think you can live with 6 rebounds per game, maybe pushes closer to 6.5 or 7 as the year goes along. Bottom line is, it's been 6 games. He was cramping in one of those. It's just not been a great start for Amen Thompson. I understand it, but he is somebody I would absolutely buy low on at a reduced price relative to where he was going in drafts.